So here's my question. For tonight, are we okay with this, or do you want to have session 0.5? Because I could do a session 0.5. It's not a full first session.
We're only 30, 45 minutes in. I've got time left.
It's up to you. You want to do session 0.5, Danny?
I'm good for whatever.
Okay, but the only thing with that is we have to have some things decided. Like, I need Laz's name.
Oh, interesting. Bronze Dragon names. Let's talk about that while I plug in.
Well, if you open shameless plug for D&D or Xanathar's Guide to Everything and look in the back, we rolled everything else random.
You want to roll a random name?
Dude, random Dragonborn names are dangerous.
That's what I did. I just looked up like a name generator. It says they never take names. That's how hippie these things are. They don't take names. If they do, it's an elven name, and that's rare. Sometimes they'll take the name that like random people give them. Like, hey, shitbag.
Here's the problem with Dragonborn names.
I'm shitbag.
Most of these are unpronounceable. Particularly the clan
A lot of
names.
X's and P's in them, right?
Tell you what, roll percentile, and we'll just see what the first name would be.
Let me get my percentile out.
Let's just see. I've
never been a big fan of the random number generators, although I like what it got me for my character.
Right.
58.
All right, so 58 would be Mugrunden.
Mugrunden.
I will spell that out for you.
I could go with Mugrunden.
Mugrunden.
That's awesome.
Do you just go by Mug? Mugs?
Mug, rug, den. Right? That's what I'm thinking.
Mugrunden.
Runden.
Mugrunden.
Mugrunden.
Or is it more like Mugrunden?
Mugrunden.
Like the Scottish?
Yeah, it's almost Scottish.
Mugrunden.
My friends call me Muggy.
All right. So, or Mugs.
Or Mugs. I like Mugs.
Mugrunden.
Sounds like kind of got a little MacGyver to it too. I like that.
All right. So, and
money.
then Mugrunden was born.
Mugrunden.
I mean, he looks like a Mugrunden. Look at that. All right. Do we have items? I know that we're using D&D Beyond and behind all of this, so the character sheets on here don't have to be for what we're doing tonight. Don't have to be like perfect. But do y'all have?
I got a deck of many things.
That's deck of many things, right? I just threw this on here.
I am not familiar with using the character sheets on Roll20.
Okay, we can play with it later. As long as you know what you're doing, and then we'll just kind of roll with it. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's where the game is going to start. So.
Oh, you already gave me items on D&D Beyond.
Huh?
Did you already give me items on D&D Beyond?
You'll have to look and see.
Oh, I have items.
I probably did that.
Okay.
It's just the.
Yeah, I know I had like starting equipment and stuff.
Right. So, all right. So at the beginning of our game, it will begin in the port of Baldur's Gate. Mugrunden has been off the boat, and he has been at sea for the last few weeks, coming down from Waterdeep, serving on the Constant, which is a merchant vessel for Captain Jabari. How your feelings towards him, as we spoke earlier, totally up to you. You'll have to. We'll come up with some history there. Also, if Captain Jabari becomes an actual character, maybe we'll discover more about that story in the back. So
you never know with those captains.
Huh?
You never know with those captain NPCs.
Right. Do me a favor. Roll 3d8.
3d8s.
3d8. Let's see what your take was on the merchant vessel trip. How well does Jabari pay?
We're about to find out. He pays great. 16.
16. All right, so you have 16 new gold pieces for your pay for your trip. He has set dock here, and he is basically you're part of his crew, but also your contract is only for each particular trip. You've done a few trips with him, but once you reach port, he's going to be here for a while. You've spent the last couple of days unloading cargo. That's part of it's not just sailing; it's also the brute force labor of doing everything. And he is basically
we wouldn't do it, just constant sailing, because I mean, where's the adventure in that? Sometimes I got to take I've got sights to see.
Part of it is just picking up contracts and moving things around. So you're going to be here. You're on shore leave for a while. Now, here's the thing. You're supposed to be back here in 2 weeks, and if you're not, they just hire somebody else. That's just kind of the way it is. I mean, there's workers, all up and down.
I can't just expect him to wait for me forever.
Right. So, so you have now you've spent time in Baldur's Gate in the past, and the last time you were here, it's actually been several months. So we're coming into the fall months. At the beginning of the summer, you were here, and you made it yourself down to the Lighthouse just south of town, because you had heard that there was a good place off the coast near the Lighthouse to actually hunt for shark.
Excellent.
Which is a delicacy that you actually enjoy. There's nothing better than good fresh shark meat. And it was several months ago when you were down here that you actually met. There's a small tavern just off the side of the Lighthouse. And let me see if I can find. So here we go. Let me move y'all so y'all can see where we are at now. There we go. So you've got a new page. So here's the Lighthouse, and you'll see the little brown building off to the right. There is a small tavern. It's very small. It's mainly for the like you've got the farmers and the shepherds that kind of come in. They'll use it from time to time. There are some fishermen come here. This isn't very popular for fishing because it's mainly known to have a lot of shark in the area. And only certain people fish for that. It's not a meat most people eat, but there are a lot of things that can be cleaned from sharks that are used for a lot of different things. So, a few fishermen. Well, several months ago, you came down to this Lighthouse and you were wanting to fish for some shark, and you met a very, very large individual named Glynden, the Furbolg.
Glynden
the Furbolg, who kind of lives in and around the area. You met him. He was very interested in just helping you fish. Not that he wanted to fish, I guess. Well, let's ask. So, Glynden, what are your thoughts on a Dragonborn coming down here and wanting to fish for shark, not for sport? Oh no, he plans on eating it.
Oh, totally good. Totally good,
right? I mean, a shark is a predator. The Dragonborn is just a predator.
Yeah. Okay. It's all about balance and that whole cyclical, nature.
Okay.
Stuff's eating stuff all the time, and
this is one of those character discovery moments. I'm just trying to figure out what type of Furbolg are you? Okay. So it was several months ago that you came down here and you befriended this Furbolg, Glynden. Y'all did actually
end up. How big are we talking as a? I'm not super familiar with the Furbolg and what it looks like.
I think they're around like anywhere from 7 to 8 feet. So probably, male probably in the middle of that at least probably.
And as a Dragonborn, there's not many humanoids you run into that are bigger than you. I mean, outside of a rare Goliath, you might run into a Furbolg is massive. So y'all befriended several months ago. Is there anything we want to add to that? It's just, this was basically a fishing trip. Y'all might spend a couple days by the beach. You were successful in catching a small shark and cooking and eating it. What would that look like for you guys? Like, how did that conversation go?
Well, a lot of it's not super noteworthy for Mugrunden, just because he spends a lot of time on the ship. And then when he comes out and he has these couple of weeks that go by, he meets all kinds of different characters, and it might only be one time you ever meet them, and you never see them again. So It's just taking pleasure in the company while it's there and enjoying some shark.
Gotcha. All right. So that time that y'all spent together, he's a memorable person for you because you don't meet many furbolg. In fact, this may be the first furbolg you've ever met. So it's a memorable person.
First one.
The reason that this is important is because now fast forward to today, you are walking the docks of Baldur's Gate, and you look over at the board that is for like work, like jobs available, and you look at different, like there's notices and bills for different ship departures, which is mainly what you're looking for. But you do notice a wanted poster, and there is a sketch of a furbolg that is wanted. That it can't be a coincidence. It has to be.
What are the chances?
Right, and he's wanted for murder.
Did he seem like a nice guy? Did he seem like
months ago? He seemed totally fine. He was very chill. I mean, I don't know. Danny, you tell me, what's his demeanor like?
He seemed very neutral good. If I had two words to describe Glynden. Yeah, he's just very mellow, kind of very loves nature, the balance. He was very interested in how shark tasted. He's never had it. He was kind of scared to try it.
As most people are. You offer somebody shark meat and they immediately kind of cringe a little bit. They're a little wary of trying something new.
That he's devoted to this, forest goddess named, I looked up, Myliki.
Myliki.
Yes. So he's just pretty mellow. He seems pretty mellow. Just kind of go with the flow. He seems like a pretty good dude, I guess.
So he's laid back. Easy.
Yeah, he's laid back, just kind of very.
So Mugrunden, you see this wanted poster for a furbolg who's wanted for murder.
How much? What's the reward looking like on there?
100 gold.
That's not too shabby.
No, it's not shabby at all.
I might have to have a little conversation with our furbolg friend.
Might have to turn myself in for that. I could do it. I can disguise self. Yeah.
I gotta at least know. I mean, there's something going on here. The pieces don't quite fit together. So
what do you want to do?
Is there anybody this is in the tavern, right? Where the job board is?
This is not out. You're basically, this is like as you're coming in the docks. Now this is a very huge, busy city. And as you're coming in, there's basically like a work board off of the docks. And there's a couple of other wanted posters that you see. But that's the one that caught your eye because you're like, it's a furbolg. Like, how the heck? Sure. There's not even a name attached to it. It's just, they've got him, they've dubbed him like the killer of the wood,
The killer of the wood.
Yeah.
Do I have any sense for, I've been to the city a few times, right? Do I know who kind of manages this board and who might have put the wanted poster up?
So most of these are going to come straight from the town guard. Now there's several noble houses that govern over Baldur's Gate, but and different ones may put bounties out or wanted posters for each individual for whatever. This one looks like it's more a crime against the state. And it actually, like, as you're looking through them, like some of them will actually, some of the wanted posters will actually say, see house, whatever, a birth or whatever for certain criminals. This one actually is like to the state, which is actually a pretty big deal. So this isn't like he pissed off a noble. This is against the state itself.
Does that make it sound like, is that the kind of thing where he might have murdered several people? Or is this because if it's a one-time thing, I wouldn't think that it might rise to that big of a level unless it was someone important.
Hard to tell.
Okay. Do I have any? Is there anybody that I have dealt with in the past in terms of guard posts or dockmaster that I could go try and glean some more information from?
So you do know there's a harbor master that you could go see, and they work close with the guards, particularly because of taxes and things like that. Let me get that for you.
Because if I can't glean any information from them, I might just go back out to the fishing spot and see if he happens by. I don't know.
Okay. So you have there's a human older general named Gerald, completely bald, big burly beard. Looks like his skin is just like almost like a burnt tanned leather from being out in the sun like his whole life. Like he's worked the docks for decades. And Gerald is the guy to talk to. Gruff, kind of carries himself, a bit of a pot belly, but also just looking at him, sizing him up, you can tell this guy is ludicrously strong for his stature and for his age. And that's just a gruff character, and someone that you actually like because even though he's a human, he may have a little dragon in him. You know, he's just kind of rough.
Yeah, I'm down with that. So Gerald, my friend.
Mugrunden, good to see you again.
Good to see you. Looking at the notices posted, trying to kill time for a couple of weeks.
Looking for another berth.
What's this about Furbolg murdering people?
Furbolg.
You know anything about this?
Oh, aye. A couple months ago, bloody affair. There wasn't much left of that poor bastard.
Do you know who it was? Why? I see 100 gold for this guy. That's quite the bounty for a...
I only heard it was quite a bloody affair.
Oh.
Happened just south of town.
Do you know how far?
Yes, not 2 hours south in the woods there. Head south.
I may go check it out myself, see what I can find.
It's right off the main road.
All right. Thank you, Gerald.
I mean, it's been several months, but that's the
then I'm not going to find anything down there.
You want to track him down yourself?
Well, that's kind of the idea. I got time to kill.
Well, best of luck to you. He's looking over now. What kind of weapon are you carrying?
I've got a two-handed maul strapped across my back and 2 long-bladed knives.
He looks at that maul and goes, you best swing that hard and fast.
I always do.
Well, you go find him, come back, you buy me some air.
Excellent.
And he kind of slaps you on the shoulder and gets back to work.
Sounds like I'm off to go find some Furbolg.
Okay. All right, so with that, you head south out of town. It is in the fall months. There's it's colder. There seems to be like a very nice breeze that's kind of pushing in, a very light misty rain, which is kind of typical for the season as you're making your way through town. Is there anything you want to do in town before you move forward into heading south of town? So let's actually go back to the other map, so you can kind of get bearing. So you're basically leaving Baldur's Gate. You've got to go, the wood that he's talking about is actually the Cloakwood Nest, which is just across the bay from there. But the thing is that you remember months ago, you saw this guy at the Lighthouse. So if you keep going south from there, he probably just roams those hills.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'll head out that way. There's nothing in town that I need to do. This is usually I kind of fend for myself off the land. I'm not great at it by any means, but that's kind of part of the idea.
Right.
I don't know where my next meal is coming from necessarily. I've got some rations just in case, but who likes eating rations?
So it's early in the morning. You spend a couple of hours, making your way out of town. As you go by, there's the market. You do stop, and your nose is assaulted with a smell of cooked fish. And you stop and immediately see they're actually selling literal fish on a stick. off the side. So that you pause for that because that
I drop by and I grab a couple skewers.
So you grab a couple skewered fish, eat that, and then kind of make your way. You're just kind of eating it as you go, grabbing your feet. It's good. It's basically like a sea like catfish. Now here's the thing, they're very inexpensive because most people don't like to eat it, but you actually. You like that rubbery feel, and you actually pick the ones that are cooked a little, not quite as much as the other. Like a little raw is okay.
A little on the raw side.
On the raw side, right? So you just sit there, you're just like just tearing into it. So you make your way through. Nothing really to report as you're coming across. You come across this crossing, and then you begin heading south. Now. As you are heading south, you're going to be cutting through a lot of wood. It's going to take you a majority of the day, and then it's actually going to take you all into the night that you'll be into the woods at this point. So you're basically going to be like just kind of going through the woods. What are you going to do? Like once you you make it past like these fishing villages, and you know the woods that Gerald was pointing you to. You get to those woods. Now it's going to get dark. Do you want to just keep going through the woods? Do you want to sleep outside the wood? What do you want to
do? Just inside the wood. I'll head in there and then make camp.
Okay.
I feel a little safer just having some.
I think you have like a bedroll in your pack. You don't have like a full tent or anything like that. But I mean, you're used to just sleeping wherever. So you make fire
against the tree somewhere, really.
Yeah. You drink out of your wineskin. You finish off the rest of the fish that you had. And you sleep through the night without a problem. This is a very traveled road. It's not uncommon even through the night that you'll hear like horses in the distance. So you're a little off the road, but you wake up several times through the night as like, riders and passage-by. This is,
of course,
you're not out in the wild. It's just the wood outside the city. You wake up the next morning rested, looking around. There's a little bit of that fish left that you finish off for breakfast, but that's the end of it. And you throw the skewers off to the side and then kind of make it on your way. As you go through the next days, you're still heading south. You're getting close. Like if you look at the map, you can kind of like see Candlekeep in the distance. You know that if you keep heading south, you can get to that lighthouse. But this is the general area that apparently this happened. Is there anything that you want to do while you're here?
I'd like to roam around a little bit.
Okay.
Spend a couple hours just checking out the scenery. If I were the kind of person that just hung out in these woods for most of my life, I'd like to see some of those sights, some of the kind of things that most people wouldn't normally experience.
Okay. So you spend a couple of hours going through the woods, looking around. You see a lot of tracks. It looks like there's some deer that are frequent through here. You come across a couple of areas that you can see like they're like a path off the beaten path kind of thing, like just kind of cutting through the wood. Give me an investigation check.
Sure.
Actually, for practice, do you want to let's do this? Can you actually roll off the character sheet? So if you go to journal, click on your character, click investigation. Let's actually for roll 20 practice. Oh, look at there.
Right, so I don't know which one. Did I roll the 6 or did I roll the 19?
All right, so the way your sheet is set up, we can change it later, is that it already rolls 2 in case you ever have advantage or disadvantage. The first roll is the actual roll. So 19 is the first roll. Okay. So
quite the roll.
It is quite the roll.
Way better than the actual die.
Right. So as you're going about and you're investigating the area, you do come across what looks like splintered arrows. So there's actually been hunters that's come through here. You can also kind of, as you're looking about, that it doesn't seem like they've been here that long as far as the shattered arrows go. It looks fairly fresh. You can tell when it's broken with the wood, like how the wood is lighter on the inside instead of being darker from like the weathering that had been sitting there for a while. So you can tell a day or two at most that some hunters have come through here.
Are there tracks of what they might have been hunting?
You look around, there are definitely deer tracks, a good all over the place.
Let's if there's any that might be leading away from where that splintered arrow was, maybe give those tracks a shot and see
Survival check for tracking.
Oh, I gotta click the thing.
Dude, let's click it. That way we can all enjoy the roll together.
Did I take survival?
No, but you have high wisdom.
Well, it's checked off for me.
You know what? I might have given it to you when I made the.
All right, we'll subtract 2 off of that.
All right, so still 17, unchanged.
Oh, okay, excellent.
Unchanged, just a solid. You do you find tracks that there are, because it's fall, there's freshly fallen leaves. You actually push some of the leaves away. You find some tracks that other people may have missed. You spend a good 30, 40 minutes like going deeper into the wood, and it's not that long until across the clearing you actually see a small buck, not probably 60 feet away from you. You've actually snuck up. He's feeding and doesn't even know you're there yet.
About how far is it?
We'll call it 60, 70 feet.
We'll call it 60, 70 feet. Oh boy. It's going to be hard to get into range. All right. I'm going to have to sneak a little closer.
All right. What kind of armor are you wearing?
Chainmail.
Stealth with disadvantage.
All righty. Stealthing it up.
Oh,
yes.
Clank, clank, clank. It's amazing how in this game, if you wear heavy armor, it always screws you on stealth. I mean, just always. All right. So you make a movement. You get like maybe 10 feet away. So you're maybe like 55, 60 feet away from it. The chink in your armor kind of like clicks. You see the buck turn, look at you, and he's about to dash. Now, you can roll initiative if you want to just go for it. But we're going to call it 55 feet.
Oh, if it's 55 feet, that's a different story. Let's roll initiative.
All right, let's roll initiative. Okay.
All right, do I click on my initiative for that? Can I do that?
Yes, you can.
Boom.
I got a 13. You have a 17.
I got better than that.
Yes, you did. Go for it. So even though he's spooked, you were in the hunt. You were ready. So you get the jump. So it's 55 feet. What do you want to do?
I'm going to run 30 feet straight at him, and I'm going to huck a knife.
Huck a knife. All right.
Just draw and throw.
All right. Let's throw the dagger.
All right. Let's go with... Oh, I don't have a dagger on here. But I can attack anyway.
That's fine. You can just, on the left-hand side, there's a D20 if you just want to roll it on there. And then we can add. This is a Dex Attack. So it's just a D20 plus your proficiency, which would be plus 2.
I don't have to use the finesse feature, right? I could just...
On a thrown weapon?
Yeah. Do I have to use...
A javelin, you can use strength. But I think a dagger is finesse, even on thrown.
Well, we'll go with the old finesse.
I could be wrong, but we'll go with that.
Where's the old D20?
On the left-hand side, you'll see like a D20 down at the bottom on this little chart thing.
Just the question mark. It's right above the question mark.
All right, you got a chance.
I don't see this.
You have like a bar with 6 icons. There's like an arrow.
Oh, his screen is messed up.
Oh, I was looking at my character sheet. That's why. All right, gotcha. Let's roll a D20. Boom!
You throw that dagger wide right into the woods. It immediately bolts through the woods. So you throw your dagger. The deer looks. He bolts, dashing into the thicket. You're running, and he is now 60, 70 feet down and like diving between. What do you want to do?
Yeah, it's too late now.
Okay.
In my shame, I go and I retrieve my dagger.
All right, give me an investigation check to find your dagger. You have to pull out like a metal detector and go through it.
Not that far.
14, we'll give it to you. You find
14.
it.
All right.
You find it stuck into a tree. It's so thick, had you not hit a tree, you might have lost it, but you find it stuck into a tree. So you retrieve your dagger, and
I'll count that as a good throw.
Huh?
I'll count that as a good throw.
It was a good throw. It was just a little off.
I killed that tree at least.
Yeah, you did. Okay.
Damn it.
All right, so you missed the deer. Now what do you want to do?
And keep looking around the woods.
Okay. You spent.
Well, I guess that's about it. I mean, I tracked a deer. I saw the hunters had gone and tried to find stuff. I don't see any hunters. Let me just continue on my way.
Okay. So you continue on your way. You're heading south. As the day passes, you pass Candle Keep on your right as you begin to head south. The next thing is you can, if you push through the day and like double time it, you've basically got fields. And then if you can make it, you can actually get to the lighthouse by the night. The issue that you've got as you're coming through, you're going to be an open grass field, and there also looks like whatever the rain is pushing in from the coast is getting heavier, so you might be like running in the field in rain.
I'm not really a double time kind of guy anyway.
So you're just going to camp it out?
Yeah, I'm going to camp it out.
Okay. All right, so you camp through the night. Now, what are we going to do for food? You didn't get deer. You're just going to have to go without?
I'm gonna have to go without, man.
All right, you're good. You ate a ton of fish.
I got some rations. If I get hungry, I'll snack on some rations.
All right, so you snack on some rations. It's raining a good bit, so getting water is pretty easy. So you drink some water off of the leaves. You eat some of your rations. You sleep through the night in the field. You wake up just kind of. You don't mind the water as much. It's the wind that you don't really care for. And there's no cover coming across the field. And it was just kind of a loud night. She was like, Ugh. So you wake up the next morning and it's off and on rain, but now you start hearing some thunder in the distance, and you're
I don't mind the thunder.
But you're in an open field. I understand.
What are they going to do? Hit me with lightning? LeBron's Dragonborn.
Right.
Yeah.
So we'll fast forward. You spend
hit me with the lightning. Go ahead.
So you spend half the day, and it's about midday that you get to the lighthouse. And as you get up to the lighthouse, you hear that rain and the storm still rolling in. And it is at that point that you get to the tavern. Is there anything you want to do before you get to the tavern?
Not especially.
Okay. So now we're at the tavern. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So you get to the tavern. As soon as you walk into the tavern, you look around, and you've been here before. This is a familiar scene. You recall being here several months ago. You actually caught the shark just outside the other way of the lighthouse. You brought it in here. The people here were nice enough to let you clean and cook it and eat it right here. They all looked at you kind of weird as you didn't really... It was more cleaning and less cooking, but you ate it. And,
look, man, you got to clean... You can't just eat it. You know, you got to clean it somewhere. Or you got to clean it outside in the dirt.
Right.
Doesn't make any sense.
All right, so you come into this establishment. You're sitting around. You're looking around, and you look around, and you see an older dwarven fellow that you remember from before. He's like the keeper of the lighthouse. His name is hang on, I have his name. Let me get it for you. Adric. Adric is what he lacks in height, he makes up with the abundance of hair. Tons of vibrant hair, brown hair that he keeps pulled back into a big bushy ponytail, big beard. He actually has it like tied into like two like long braids. It is quite possibly the hairiest individual you've ever seen that's not supposed to be that hairy. It's just something in his blood. I don't know. But Adric's a very hairy dwarf, and he is the keeper of the lighthouse. It is his keen dwarven eyes that keep the ship safe.
Adric, what's
Oi!
I need to grab some food and some ale, but in the meantime,
wait,
I call over.
You were that guy who came in here and ate that shark.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you've got any, if there's any available here, I'm going to order it off the menu.
Tons out in the wolf, but well, come in. You made it just in time. Terrible squall coming in.
I come inside away from the squall.
Okay, good. All right, so as you come in, you look around. You see a furbolg sitting at the bar. Like, there's your buddy.
Oh. Well, I'm going to go right over to him then. Adric, come meet a friend of mine.
Hey, I know Glynden.
No. You don't know Glynden like I know Glynden. We fished for sharks together a few weeks back.
I remember it was a few months ago, and I helped you clean that foul beast.
I helped.
You've been out in the sun too much. It cooked your mind. All right, so
I feel like I showed you how to clean a shark.
So, Glynden, you are here. The door opens up. You look over. You remember your dragonborn friend from a few months ago as y'all caught and cleaned and ate the shark, or he did the eating, you did the watching. But you remember. He comes in. It's like, oh, yeah. So, what do you do?
Let's see. I'll hail him.
I hail him right back.
Yeah.
Glynden, my old friend. What's been new these past few months?
It's been a killer of a time. No,
that's what I hear.
Yeah.
That's what I hear. I see your face posted all over right outside the docks.
You may not know about that.
Right. Oh. Is this pertaining to the law?
I don't know. Glynden, why don't you tell me what it's pertaining to?
Well, just probably how nice I am when I pick berries and nuts out in the forest and distribute them amongst the animals.
Sounds like you might have an interesting story to tell.
Well,
one might say worth about 100 gold. Does he seem nervous?
He seems bewildered, I think. He has no idea what you're talking about.
Oh.
Right.
What's this law you speak of?
Glynden, you're wanted for murder, my friend.
Oh.
You know anything about that?
Now, no one's come for me, right?
Well, no one's looked this far south for you.
Okay.
Also, I waved to get myself and Glynden and I forgot Adric's name.
Adric is Adric's name.
Oh, Adric, right. Adric Glynden brings myself a drink.
They're already drinking ale that he comes and brings you one. And it's good dwarven ale. You do remember this.
I'll tell him. I mean, I liked them, and I would think fearbolgs are pretty trusting of people. Maybe to their detriment, but it's like this might have to do with a little business with a little fella named Neville Tallfellow.
You murdered a man named Tallfellow.
No.
He's taller than you.
No, I protected him. I saved him.
Ah.
And I'll relay the story, Now, what were the specifics? Was it one person pursuing Neville?
So there were two. You mauled the first one. The second one ran and got away. Hence, they know what you look like, or it was a furbolg.
That makes perfect sense.
Right. Yeah. So, and Neville, thanked you and went on his merry way after he, initiated you into the Thieves Guild. Which he shows you a secret handshake, which you may or may not remember, and you just kind of went on your way.
Oh, the paladin thief! It's the paladin thief hippie,
right?
Yeah. So I'll tell him that story and just how Neville. I thought it was like a child at first. He was certainly shrieking like one, and saved him, and plus. After talking to these men, it didn't really work because that's the thing. Fearbolgs always try to talk. They're very peaceful at first, but when it does go south, then they get kind of nuts. So I guess I would have had to have kind of been pushed pretty far of feeling like there was no other alternative. So I guess he's pleading his case that it wasn't just like, out, murdering folks.
It was more, you were defending a small child.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right, so what do we do about this whole mess? How do we clear this up? You can't be walking around with a bounty of 100 gold on your head.
Right.
Can you?
If you come, I'm sure more will. Because it's what you said, about a day and a half.
It's two days.
It took me about 2.5 days, but I took my sweet time about it.
Yeah, 100 gold is a pricey sum. So I would figure I'm starting to get a little anxious.
What is an anxious furbolg? Like, can you even tell? Does he fidget? Like, is there some, like, what is his tick?
More than normal.
Huh?
Yeah, there you go.
He fidgets more quickly.
Right.
Yeah. Let me reflect. I mean, I could go, I guess, deeper into the forest, but, at the same time, he doesn't really feel like he did anything wrong,
Oh, also, they'd be still hunting for you for quite some time.
Right.
I imagine they're just going to forgive and forget.
Right. Now, fearbolgs are they love diplomacy. So in his kind of naivete, he might actually think that he can go perhaps talk to people and get this sorted out.
Which would be
maybe
awesome.
We can go diplome.
Yeah.
Tell you what, you collect the 100 gold, and then you will see if you can talk your way out of it.
Right. Yeah.
No, there's not going to be any collecting of gold.
Either that, or he would be like, all right, I'm going to just kind of withdraw and kind of, because he has these things where he can make himself look different.
Just look like a different furbolg.
Right. I can make disguise self.
You can make yourself look like a lot of different things. Yeah.
Yeah. I can make myself look like an elf, a human, something that's within about a foot.
So I guess
you want to live the rest of your life as a foot shorter elf.
Exactly.
2 feet.
So he definitely wants to take care of the issue. And I think in his naivete, he would be like, well, I got to go clear this up now, don't I?
I love that voice, by the way. I know this is session 0 or 0.5. We're going to find voices, but I liked that voice.
Yeah. How bad could these chaps be? I'm sure the guy just told the story wrong. Yeah. And I guess he thinks that if things go south, he could always, disguise himself or go invisible if he had to, or,
And kill a few more people.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So as y'all are discussing this, Adric has kind of left. And he comes back. He keeps you in ale. He brings you some different meat. They've got display. He has a lot of goat meat that he's bringing in, like big leg of lamb kind of thing. So he brings that stuff in. There's a lot of and Mugrunden, you saw this as you were coming in. You saw a lot of flocks of sheep on the open hills. So you saw a lot of that. And as he come in, you're kind of like, of course he has a lot of sheep. In fact, even if you look at, you see like the sheep's like blankets and stuff like laid over everything. Like that's just, the place smells of sheep. It's just, there's a lot of those shepherds about. So that's just what is eaten here. So you've got, goat's milk, you've got ale, and even the ale itself looks like it's maybe made out of some type of goat's milk as well. It's like fermented. And then you also have, that's just kind of giving you the idea of the place that you're in. So you spend several hours drinking and debating whether or not to even how to handle this situation. And it sounds to me like the more y'all are discussing it, Glynden doesn't really know what he wants to do. You do see how naive he can be about the situation, and he knows no idea about laws or anything like that. Like what is that? So y'all spend several hours doing that, and as you do, the storm outside continues to get worse and worse to the point where Adric says, "Oh, sorry, lads, I must go into my post and light a way for the onward ships. Don't want any trouble." So he kind of, y'all are the only two left here. He looks over at Glynden. He trusts you and says, just lock up, and I've got to go get to my. Now, there are other people that come in and out of here normally, but not tonight. Tonight, it's just y'all. Y'all are the only ones here.
You gonna leave the area to a murderer?
Adric has known this guy forever. Like, he doesn't. I don't know. And he kind of looks over. Looks him over. He's like, there is no way that's true. It's like the most gentle giant in the world. So he leaves.
All right, if you're gonna trust a murderer,
you watch my tavern. Yeah. So he leaves. Adric leaves. And he goes to the Lighthouse to do his thing. Y'all continue drinking for the hours, and the storm just continues to get worse and worse. Now, I'm going to see, does this work?
Nice. I hear it.
So, alright, so there are sound effects now in Roll20. This was in its infancy when I played this years ago, but yeah. So the storm is pouring in, and it's really, it's not just the light outside. It's also
hell, it's louder than you are.
Oh, is it? Well,
yeah.
Well,
parts of it. Yeah, definitely. Parts of it are.
I can control that. Okay, so as the storm is coming in, and the rain is pelting, there's a little bit of leaking here and there through the tavern, but the light show outside is just enormous. Now, Mugrunden, you have no problem with the storm at all. Anytime that lightning and thunder, there's like this electricity in the air. It's almost like drinking like a Monster Energy drink for you. You're like, kind of energizes you a little bit. Like you want to like go out and punch something, you just like to be in the storm. Glynden, on the other hand, you spend most of your time living out in the wild. The storm comes, you just go stand under a tree. Yeah. What's the worst that could happen? Standing under a tree in a lightning storm, right? No big deal. So y'all are just kind of enjoying each other's company as this is happening, and then there is a roll of thunder and a what sounds like a giant crash. It is massive, and it's just outside the building. Like it sounds like wood and stone crunching against each other.
Doesn't sound like lightning just hit the lighthouse?
No, it doesn't. It sounds like something is breaking apart against
like
stone.
A shipwreck?
Oh, wow.
You can't tell from here, but it sounds horrible. And it's loud.
Let's go out to where we can tell.
Okay.
Yeah, let's stumble drunkenly out there.
All right, so
drunkenly into the storm.
Yeah.
All right, so to go back,
how drunk are we?
That is a good question. Both of you give me a Constitution roll.
Can we do that from the sheet?
You can.
Okay.
If you go to your sheet,
just roll on Constitution.
Yes, under saving throw, hit Constitution.
Oh, saving throw?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, I get a bonus as well.
Oh yeah, you're fine.
Saving throws at. Let's see here.
There we are.
I'm going to say you're fine.
Ooh, that's not very great.
No, you're okay.
I rolled low.
9 is okay.
Are the saving throw?
Doesn't get much lower than 9 for me. I've got a +5.
If you go to your character sheet on the left side beside your stats.
Did it roll?
It did. 4. That's a nat 1. That's a 4. Okay, so you walk out. You are slightly impaired because you actually started drinking a few hours before Mugrunden got here, and you had no intention of leaving. You were just enjoying. So you are inebriated. And as you didn't realize,
drunk for a murderer.
You didn't realize that you were drunk until you stood up and were like, "Yeah,
I'm the Lighthouse lopper of limbs.
So
let's go look at a shipwreck.
All right. So you walk out, and as you're kind of stumbling to the door, Mugrunden, you look over and realize this. You quickly do some math in your head of how much ale did the 7.5 foot tall Furbolg drink to have it be to this effect.
I would like to point that out verbally. The amount of ale it would take to get you drunk, that's got to cost like 100 gold pieces.
I help him with foraging, and he pays me back, and he's a nice fella.
All right.
Yeah.
So you guys head out. You head out the lighthouse. You look down into the ravine itself, and you do actually see a small ship, a skiff that looks like it's come in and is broken in two across the rocks. From this distance, you can't see much, but when the lightning lights up the sky, you get a clear view of this ship breaking up across the rocks.
How close is it to the lighthouse?
If you're looking at the map, it's just on the north side, straight down. So if you have two options. You could actually climb down the side of the ravine, or you could do a run around and go down the beach. But there's actually a beach area with all these. You know the area well. There's these big jagged rocks. It's not that far from where you caught the shark 3 or 4 months ago. So y'all are both familiar with that area.
Is the lighthouse operating?
Yes,
is it just
it is.
Okay, so whoever was driving this boat they missed the lighthouse entirely, I guess.
They came into the cove, and who knows? But you don't know. Yeah. All you know at this point, the lighthouse is operating. The storm is bad. Visibility is bad, and there is a small skiff that has crashed into the cove.
What's my assumption as a sailor? If the lighthouse is operating.
Wait. Pause for a second. What are you drinking?
Nothing.
It's a Dr. Pepper, sir.
I'm having a little wine myself.
That's so on brand. Okay, perfect. And see, this is the bad thing about gaming like this, is that you can't share.
I know, right? Well, the nice thing, though, is that I don't have to share.
That's right. Yeah.
It's both a pro and a con. All right.
Yes, it is.
All right. So what do you want to do?
I'm just trying to get into character, man. Come on.
All right. We've been drinking ale with a Furbolg all night.
Yeah.
All right. So what do y'all want to do?
I'll tell them there's two ways down. We can either kind of go around on the beach.
I take the first one he suggests.
I am pretty drunk, which means my decision-making abilities are pretty stupid.
So you can climb the rocks.
I'm completely wasted. Let's crawl down the rocks.
It's probably not a great idea.
Because alcohol never affects your balance. Yeah.
We'll run around then.
You run around
and try and get down there.
Y'all run around, and you get onto the beach. It doesn't take long. You're sloshing through the woods and the mud, slosh as you get.
We're sloshed.
You're sloshed. We're sloshed.
As characters.
I understand. All right, so we get to the cove itself. As you come across the cove, you can see this skiff broken up, and neither one of you have dark vision, I don't think.
I never saw anything about it.
I don't think either one of you have dark vision.
Let me address the character sheet. I don't think Dragonborns
do.
One of the few races in 5e that don't.
It's one of the very few.
Yeah.
Is it Furbolg?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
But I can speak to beasts and leaves.
Oh, well.
I will call out to the seaweed. Tell me what happened.
All right, so here's the thing. There's enough between the storm and the lighthouse itself. As the lighthouse comes around, you can actually see the shadow of the ship as it crosses over, and both of you give me perception checks.
All right.
Perception 15.
Nice. All right, let me see here. Let me find it. Perception.
19. Okay. So as y'all are looking about, okay, y'all because okay, I'm going to try to paint this picture a little bit. All right, so Glynden, you're kind of stumbling back a little bit. You're kind of catching your foot. Mugrunden, you're further ahead. Now, as you get closer to the boat, you look over and you're closer in. You actually spot what looks to be a body washed up on the shore. Like it's like you basically see the body like tumbling over the waves in a lifeless manner, like getting like pushed up into the beachhead. So you're not 15 feet in front where you're seeing this as you're kind of like walking towards it. You like have this panic, like, what is that?
I grab the body immediately and drag it onto the beach.
Pause.
Pausing.
Behind you is Glynden, and you don't see your view is blocked from what you see, and in the distance you see it looks like some humanoids crawling up the back of the broken vessel. And
okay.
You've been about it. You look and you immediately stop and realize that there's something amiss here.
Okay. Yeah, I'll call out. I'll call out to
Okay.
What was the name again?
Mugrunden.
Mugrunden.
Mugrunden. There we go. Mugrunden be like, just there's movement.
All right, so now let me.
Well, I'll call out to them because I'm an idiot.
Okay, so
I yell that there's no movement at all, and I go towards the body.
All right, so this is going to be Mugrunden. There's Glynden further back on the beach. Do y'all see that?
I see this.
Okay, all right.
Banana.
All right, and off to the right up here, if you look up, you'll see the back part of the ship that is broken apart. There's two shadowy individuals up there that Glynden you see, and when you call out, yes, up there, yeah. As you're calling out, how do you ping like that?
Oh, you just click and hold.
Ah, yes. All right, so from this area here, that's good.
Okay.
I'm purple. Okay. So from this area here, you see there's two shadowy individuals on the back of that boat. What do you want to do? I know what everyone should do.
Yeah,
roll initiative.
Roll initiative. That's what you should do.
All right. And same thing, just click on it.
Oof.
Uh-oh.
A mighty 2.
Oh, good.
Jesus. You beat me like 20?
My God.
That's a nat 20.
Did you get another round before I get to go?
You do. I'm going to give that to you. So because of the situation, you rolled high on, say, this is one of those things that's like outside of the rules per se, but this is just, you have to read the situation. Okay. He saw it before you. He rolls initiative, rolls a nat 20. So I'm going to give you a free action. So what do you want that free action to be? You see there's two individuals up there. What do you want to do, Glynden?
Do I get a sense that like they're menacing or?
Yes.
Okay. I'll unsheath my axe. How far away are they?
Well, let's see. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. About 45 feet to 50 feet away.
Okay, I'm going to hail them. I feel like he would, It's almost like when you get like a shady stranger at the door. You know, you don't just blast them away on the front porch.
All right.
Why are you in my
bedroom? Shadowy ninja pipes.
In your best furball language, I want to hear your voice. What exactly are you shouting out into the darkness and the crashing waves? What exactly are you saying?
Hey, friends, are you all right?
Perfect.
That was perfect.
All right. Now, is that all you're doing with your free action? Are you just standing still and doing
with the axe out? Because I've got.
So you've pulled out the axe, and you're, hail, friends. Okay.
He is drunk.
Yes,
true. This makes perfect sense. Okay. You say that, and immediately both of them dive into the water, and they dive toward you into the water. Now we will start the actual round where Danny will get to go first, and then I got to see about the rest of the initiative here.
Where is Danny? I don't see him.
If you scroll down.
Oh, I see. Ah, yeah.
Yes, he is there.
I don't see a way to scroll down.
Maybe you have to like grab the bar and move up and down if you're using a touch screen.
Oh, well, I'll figure it out.
Okay. All right. So you're about 10 feet behind Mugrunden, and you get to go first. You see them dive towards the beach. So what do you want to do, Glynden?
And where were they? About right here? They were on this part of the ship?
They were on, up here where you see my purple.
All right, and they dove towards the shore.
Yeah, they dove like here,
the water,
in here. Yeah, where I'm.
Gotcha.
It's a neat trick. Thank you.
I'm going to. Does he hasn't noticed him at all, has he?
No, he's going towards the body. He's looking around.
All right, I'll warn him. I'll say, watch out! There's shadowy figures swimming towards us. And I'll start making my way up towards.
Now, where do you want to be?
Can I move the guy?
Let's see if you can.
What are these, like 10 feet grids? 5 feet?
Do you have to give us control or something to be able to?
Oh, he did.
Did it move?
It did.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of cool. That was 5, 10, 15, 20. Yeah, you can actually get further up.
Okay, I think this is probably pretty good, and I'll tell him real
so
quick.
You can go stand beside you.
You can right click and drag as well.
Okay.
Nice.
That moves the map for you.
Yeah, and I'll just fill him in on what I saw.
All right, so your turn, you're going to basically, you call out and you run up and you stand at attention next to him, pulling your shield out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shield and
shield and axe, bracing there. Okay.
And I just tell him, like, I hailed these guys and...
All right. Coming out of the beach, you see this.
Oh. That's horrid.
Now, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Does he look delicious?
He does.
That's what I thought.
These are the Sahuagin.
Oh, yeah.
Sahuagin.
Nice.
Now, Glynden doesn't know this, but they taste almost as good as shark.
Right.
Ooh. Might have to try it.
They're going to spend their turn.
Nasty little creatures. Nasty little creatures.
Yeah.
But delicious.
The first one coming out of the water will lift his javelin. It's more like a harpoon. We'll call it a harpoon. He pulls out his harpoon, and he's going to throw it at the tall one, which would be Glynden. All right. So, for funsies, I will roll here. 15 plus 2 is going to be a 17 to attack.
My character sheet says I have an 18 armor class. Is that
correct.
Right?
You have chainmail and a shield, which gives you an 18. So what happens? He rolls back. He throws the harpoon. Instinctively, you didn't even see it coming. You heard it coming through the ear with your giant furball gears. You could hear it whistling through the air, and you just pull up your shield, and you hear it plink off of you. Now, Mugrunden, you're standing there, and you're not 100% sure if he deflected that blow from him or you. It was kind of between the two of you. He just blocked it. You just see the shield come up in front of you, and he blocks it off. And now,
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that one.
Yeah. All right, and then from now we go to Mugrunden's turn.
Oh, I'm gonna go right for him. I'm gonna rip the maul off of my back.
Okay.
And I'm gonna change my course from where's my mouse at? I'm gonna change my course from him to him.
Nice.
And I'm just gonna I launch over this debris and then just come down with the maul.
Okay. All right, let's see your attack.
So we will roll. I guess I just got to do I got to do it this way. Bam.
Okay. So in the darkness, yes. So you get a 4, but you get some bonuses there, but it's not going to make it.
No. Plus 3.
Plus 3, yeah. So you run up and there's water, there's sand kicking up. You're also kind of stepping over like ship debris. You swing haphazardly over, and you see the thing just like duck below as the mace or your maul just swings over it, and you just hear it like it hiss back at you. Okay, so now it is, let's see, top of the round. So it goes back to Glynden.
All right. So I'll run up. Do I have to be like right next to him, or
yes?
Can I be like right there, or
yeah,
do I have
that's totally
to be, like,
fine. You can be diagonally. That's fine.
Okay. Well, I'll. That is so cool. Okay. I'll run up and try to hit him with the axe. Let me bring up the character here. I got to work on maximizing my space on the. All right, battle axe. Here we go. Did it roll?
Yes, that's a 20 to hit and 7 damage.
Okay.
Now, Laz, I actually there's a way you can do his settings where you can have it all roll at once like that, and I'll do it for yours too. All right, so you're gonna connect.
I get the right weapon on there and everything too. So
yeah. So you come across with the battle axe. You come down, you cut across his skin. You see him kind of like squeal back, and as you cut through it, its skin is like it's green, but as it pulls back, you see the grayish like under the green scales. It kind of cuts across like this. You see blood start to flow out the front of it. It screams back. You see its arm kind of like drop down a little bit as it's like, you can see it's kind of shaking to try to hold it up as you kind of like cut right across its chest. But he's still standing.
Right.
Now it is, after that it's their turn.
I'm going to turn invisible as my bonus action.
Can you do that?
Yeah. It's called Hidden Step.
Nice.
Wait.
I can only do it once per short rest though.
That's all right. It counts as once.
That's great.
Yeah.
So you hit him and then just pop vanish. Okay. All right. You're gone. It's still, hang on. It's still going to try to attack you because you were just there.
Right,
It's just going to lunge into the darkness to try to come at you, so it'll attack with disadvantage.
Right.
He stumbles across and falls over some stuff, so he's actually prone on the ground. Like, as he comes across you, he was so like, where did it go? You can see like the bewilderment and confusion in this fish's face as it lunges towards you. You sidestep out of the way. It's now laying on the ground prone in front of you. The other one is going to kind of come around and try to flank Mr. Mugrunden. But not flank in the sense that he's going to get flanking because his friend is now laying prone over here, but he's trying to come across the side. And he is going to leap at you and try to. He still has a spear, so he's going to try to hit you with his harpoon. He will miss. Actually, I should be rolling on here. We'll figure out how I want to do this. My second attack is a hit, which is his bite
cheating.
attack.
That's cheating.
It is cheating. And
what are they using to attack with?
So his first attack is a harpoon, which he misses. Mugrunden, you step out of the way to dodge that, but as you did that, you didn't expect how fast he would lunge forward, and he actually bites and comes across and catches your arm and actually crunches into your chainmail, and blood starts to come off the side of your right arm. You take 6 points of piercing damage on your arm.
Ooh.
All right, as he stabs into me, I'm going to try and... My maul had hit into the sand, and as he stabs into me, I'm going to try and bring it up this way.
Okay, go for it.
And hit him with it. We'll get this eventually.
Swing and a miss.
You got a 4 again.
So you swing. All right, so that's your action. You swing over. There's so much pain coming out of that arm that you're not able to lift the maul as well as you thought you could. It's definitely throwing you off your game. Is there anything you want to do other than that?
I am going to take a step this way.
Shift back. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else?
That's it.
You good? Okay. All right. So you swing and you just kind of take a step back. No attacks of opportunity. You're still engaged. You're just moving back. Okay. After that, it's the top of the round. We're going to go back to Glynden.
All right. So the one directly in front of me is just kind of sprawled out on the ground.
He is prone, so you will get advantage on the attack.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try to just go ahead and finish him off because it seems like talking with this thing is quite a futile attempt. So let me go back. How do I do? Is there anything specific I do with advantage?
So here's the thing. Just roll it twice. We'll take your damage of the first roll.
Okay.
We're still figuring out the roll 20 stuff. So we'll take the 20 and the 7.
We'll edit this.
I rolled another 20?
It's not an natural 20.
Oh, okay.
It's a 16 plus 4 is 20.
Some sort of cheat
if you'll look up at the 20
on.
that I rolled before, it was green to kind of indicate that. Okay.
That's with all the bonuses.
Right. All right. So, with this, he's laying on the ground. You come across with the axe and you just dig it back into the spine. You hear the spine snap and you see him kind of wiggle on the ground a little bit and then stop.
Okay. I'm visible now.
Yeah, you're visible. Yeah, so that just came out. And you see this out of the corner of your eye, Mugrunden. You just see him reappear with axe coming down on top of it.
What?
All right. Now it's their turn. And the fishman, or Sahuagin, is going to still chase after his prey and pull the harpoon to attack at you again. Which will be... Hold up.
Y'all cheat! Y'all cheating!
Yeah, you put that Mike Tyson code in, didn't you?
Roll your damage. Roll your double damage.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Get wrecked over here.
11.
Right.
Jesus, he's dead.
Yeah, I'm downed.
He stabs you with the harpoon.
Almost max damage.
And he just rolls over. All right. So
and I drop.
Down goes Mugrunden. And now Mugrunden is your turn. Make a death save.
I will make a death save. 4. No, I won.
You won.
I win. I win at death saves.
You do win at death saves. Okay. Now it is the top of the round. It goes to our ever faithful Glynden.
Glynden.
B. Johnson. All right, let's see here.
Laszlo got so mad he left the chat.
Uh-oh. Oh, is says pause. How does that?
He's typing.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, he has left the chat.
I will.
Might have been a bathroom break. We'll see. You go ahead.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to try to take this guy out. Or can I don't even remember how it works. If I were to lay on hands right now, could he get back up?
Yes. You have
or do I have
5
to,
whole points of healing at level 1. Hello?
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's basically at 0.
Yes, he is at 0 right now. And he's making he passed his first death save.
Okay, so what I'll do, let's see. I was here. I'll move here. And give him some Myleeky's milk. The milk of Myleeky.
So what does this is a good exercise. This is your action. You can't attack and do this. So basically,
right.
I guess you put the axe in the same hand as your shield. You put your hand down. What does it actually look like when you use lay on hands?
I haven't thought about that.
We'll give Laszlo a second to come back.
I would like it to be naturey. Myleeky's all about the nature. Actually says rangers worship her a lot. So maybe like
he's back.
Some sort of plant life, maybe. I don't know. Kind of men's. Comes out
so
men's.
He is stepping back to use lay on hands.
I see.
And we're having an interesting session 0.5 question of what does this look like as he does this?
I see.
Maybe some sort of plant, kind of vine, or like series of little vines comes out, and kind of.
So actually, like, you reach down and like plants come out of your hand to heal, like.
Either that, or it could come out of the ground.
Actually, nourishment from the ground itself.
Although I guess with lay on hands, it would have to be your hand touching.
No, but you could say that you have to be within range of a touch. You have to be like right next to him and put your fingers into the beach, and then the roots kind of come up out of the sand. And
oh, that's cool. Yeah.
So I like the idea of this. We'll come. To move past this, we're going to do lay on hands, but then just kind of be thinking how to maybe the next time we do it, we know. So how much of your
green energy?
Right.
It says
magic fingers. All right. So how much? Now, here's the thing: when you use lay on hands, you can choose how many points. You have 5 points you can use per day. So how many of the 5?
Just all.
All. Okay. So you're getting all 5. All right. So breath of life comes back. You regain consciousness. Your wounds close. You're not bleeding to death anymore. You're not dying, but you are also very sore and weak. But you come back to. So that is Glynden's turn. It now goes to the Sahuagin, who is going to rush over and try to harpoon you. You still got your shield up, but it will try to stab. 15 plus 2 is 17 to hit. So again, you block it off with your shield. He's going to reach in for the bite and misses completely. So you're kind of hunched over with your shield protecting Mugrunden, as you can feel the whole weight of this fish man like leaning onto your the harpoon goes off the side. He goes and grabs it, and you actually can feel one of the hands on the shield as he's trying to like get on top of you.
Right.
Okay. So bottom of the round, we now go to Mugrunden, who has regained consciousness. You look as you kind of look up from the ground. You see this scene of this fish man like on top of the shield of Glynden, who is like standing above you trying to protect you.
I'm going to roll to my right.
Okay.
Remaining prone. And I open my jaws, and there's a crackling energy that goes between my teeth. And I'm going to unleash my breath weapon.
It's the breath weapon.
Electric energy goes.
I totally forgot you were sitting on that.
That's going to be a DC 13 Dex save.
DC 13 Dex save. All right.
Is it one of those where, like, if they fail, they get half or
half damage on success?
Nice.
It does go through them either way.
Yeah, I failed.
Oh, excellent.
I like the lightning breath.
That'll be 5 damage apiece.
All right, so the first one takes 5. The second one, it just kind of cuts through where Glynden had already cut, and the lightning actually cuts it in 2. So there's 2 pieces of the one behind it. And the first one is you can see it just and as the lightning of the breath goes through him, you can actually see the light jumping between his teeth, like he's being tased. Don't
tase me, bro.
Don't tase me, bro. All right, so that's 5 points as you're just breathing that out. Now, Glynden, this is the first time you've seen that as well, but I mean, he's not just looks like a dragon; he's actually a dragon.
Right.
So he's actually breathing this out. Cool effect. All right. So
and
with
then
that,
I stick my maul in the sand and I push myself to my feet. End of my turn.
Okay.
Nice.
Top of the round. We go back to Glynden.
It only counts as flanking if you're surrounding him, right? Like one on each side, kind of. So
I like to say that. So
that's not
sense.
Flanking right there. Right?
No, but if you stepped forward, I would give it to you.
Like right here?
Yeah. That I would give it to you.
All right. Well,
I think logically, he can't defend both of you well.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. All right. I'll take a swing at him.
So this will be with advantage. So roll it twice. We'll take the damage of the first roll. As Danny goes through. So 7, which is not going to hit, but an 8 will also not hit.
Yeah.
All right. So you get the position, you swing. You're still shocked at how fast this thing can move, as you feel like you're about to land a perfect blow, and it just kind of skirts out of the side, and you run into sand. He doesn't even block it. He just completely dodges the attack. With that, he turns and he's going to try to hit you again with his harpoon. Which will miss. He'll then go try to bite you, which will also miss. So you're just blocking everything with your shield. He can't seem to get past your shield. We fast forward down to Mugrunden. Now it's your turn.
All right, I'm going to sweep up with the old maul.
And this will be with advantage as well.
Oh, thank goodness. That way I can miss twice.
Holy.
Wait. Okay.
So it'll be the 18.
The 18 will hit.
3.
And
so
that will hit. So
hit.
roll your damage with the maul. What is the damage of a maul?
It's a 2d6, and I re-roll a 1 or a 2.
So it's a 6 and a...
So it'll be 12 damage. 11 damage. Wait. Plus 1, not minus 1. 13 damage. I'm good at math.
All right, so let me ask a question.
Shoot.
What does this look like?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Last thing he did was he tried to stab at Glynden, right?
Correct.
I come down across his arm and take that off, the arm that's got the javelin or the harpoon, and then I sweep up and I hit him in the bottom of the chin and just knock him back over into this area, and he just becomes amongst the debris.
And he's there.
Looks like one of those pressed sardines, in the...
Very, very well played. Okay, so y'all have killed both of the Sahuagins, or fishmen. I like using old school. I don't know if I showed you. I will show this to Danny earlier. I still have the original monster manual from AD&D. I was pulling it out today for some inspiration.
Yeah, so
you have killed both of the Sahuagins as they lay lifeless on the beach, and you had to dig deep in your level 1 kit to do so. So now with that, Glynden, you see this heroic attack from Mugrunden. What do you do?
It's pretty much well and done that thing's dead, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go check. Well, do I even know the body's there?
Yes, you do see the body.
Okay, because I guess I'm close enough. I'll just try to just first impressions of the body.
I don't recommend lay on hands.
Right. Yeah.
Seeing as you have expended all of it.
Yeah.
Give me a medicine check.
I do have medicine though, which can stabilize.
Well, are you applying said medicine, or are you just watching him die?
He's actually quite dead, but you can use medicine to see the cause of death.
He's only mostly dead.
Right.
Let's see. Medicine.
I'm not dead.
I went back, and so this will be a +2 to whatever this is because it hasn't updated. I think, right?
Yeah.
Didn't we? I changed it out.
Yeah. All right. So looking over, it looks like he's got on the right side of his body, his ribs are totally pushed in. It looks like whenever the best you can figure is that he got tossed from the boat onto rocks, and the rocks actually hit him there and it killed him. And then he was just kind of washed. So you're not really sure if it was this that killed him or there's all this water that's in his lungs. If maybe this knocked him out and he drowned. Either way, he is a half elf and he is very much dead. And you look about, his clothes are tattered. More so than not just in the storm itself. Like it seems like he was at sea for a while, or just had been through a lot. But yeah, he himself has been torn. Like his clothing was just torn more than just what would have happened in this little incident.
Okay.
So that's kind of what you glean from his corpse. Is there anything else that you want to do? Right now you're just looking at his wounds.
I want to check on him, make sure he's still okay from his arm and everything, All
right, so you go check on Mugrunden.
Yeah.
Mugrunden, you are, you're not bleeding. The healing hands, actually, the wound itself is closed, but you're still hurt. You're still very much hurt and very sore. But I think the adrenaline of the situation, plus the electrical nature of everything happening here,
right.
You don't feel it at all.
Sure. I'm going to start doffing my armor.
Whew, your audio just got crazy.
I'm going to dive in and see what if there was something else that happened to the ship, or if it just crashed on the rocks on its own.
Okay. All right, so you take some time it takes a few minutes to get the chainmail off. So you're going to start taking the chainmail off so you can do some investigation. As you're taking the chainmail off, Glynden, is there anything you want to do?
Yeah, same thing. I mean, just try to figure out what the ship was, you know. Any indications of if it was a merchant, if it was like, a private.
All right, so as he is taking that off, you give me an investigation check.
Yeah, and I can say as much. Yeah, check what you can find along the beach, and I'll go underwater and see what I can.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Ooh, I get a whole +0.
Okay, it is a boat. It has been torn up. It's dark.
I'm like Inspector Gadget over here. Penny. Yeah.
You look around, you don't see much. You can actually walk into the hole. There's like a big enough hole on the side you can actually walk in. You're looking around. You just see like a lot of like water and sand, and a crab runs out. And as you're looking about, you do see like a desk and like a bed that's like a small cot that's been like totally just in shambles.
Yeah.
But that's what you see. Just like you see like a desk, and you see like a bunch of floating like papers and stuff in here.
That makes sense because being on land, I wouldn't have the first clue what to look for.
Right.
So
someone slept here.
It seems to float. Yeah.
All right, Mugrunden, you've taken your armor off.
I'm gonna dive into the water.
Okay.
And see what I can check out.
All right, so you go swimming around the water. Give me a investigation check as you're swimming about the water.
Now, my only question is, can I apply my vehicle's water to this search?
No, because that's for sailing.
Is that more for like piloting, or is it more for like so he couldn't if he knew how a boat worked? I guess
I'm proficient in tools, vehicles / water.
Right.
Water.
So he's good at sailing.
That'll be a 4.
Yeah. You swim around a good bit. You're not really seeing anything. It's really tough because the storm is so bad and the water is churning so bad. But you are able to swim all the way up to the back of the boat. If you want to climb up in there.
Yeah, I want to climb up in there.
Okay. All right. So you climb up in there. As he's climbing in there, Glynden, what are you doing?
I'll just, maybe say a little prayer to my Leaky for our dead half-elf friend, or
okay, so
this dead half-elf.
You're reading him his rites or like his last rites. Give me a religion check.
You accidentally bring him to life.
Right. You pray to Satan. Let's see.
You accidentally pray to
God, 0.
How did you roll a 0? Oh, plus 0 too. Okay.
Yeah. You
say a prayer, but you're so busy thinking about the waves and the moment. It's half-hearted at best. You're just this is just whatever. So because we're in a session 0.5 and we're still learning characters and everything, a couple things I do want to recall. Danny, look at your ability that says that you can disguise self. That ability allows you to do something else.
Let me see. Yeah, I think that was part of my sheet that got.
Oh, that's right. You tried to print it out. So yeah, this is
of course
DM helping on 0.5.
Oh, the spell disguise self.
Yeah, there's another way to use that ability.
Okay, let me see here. All right.
Laszlo, do you see it?
I'm not looking at his sheet, no. I will look at his sheet now, though. My campaigns. View campaign. I spelled his name wrong. That's the first thing I see.
Do you see it, Danny?
I don't. This is
you can detect magic and disguise self.
Detect magic or disguise self.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just disguise self. Yeah. Definitely detect magic.
Okay. So
it's and he can detect magic.
Yeah, you can do one a day.
Yeah. And he can disguise self once.
Yeah.
Oh, I see the or now.
Yeah. So the other racial ability that's really good about Furbolg is they can detect magic. So he used his hidden step, or his disguise, he turned invisible. But a separate ability is the ability to detect magic. So while Mugrunden is looking about, you say your prayer, you look up, you feel this divine measure to look deeper into the situation, as if the DM or the god was telling you to do something. And you open your eyes again, and you see what she sees is a small light shimmering in the wake of the ocean, somewhere between the two boats. Here you see a small light emanating under the waves.
Ooh, okay. Like a yellow light or
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, oh shit, where's my mouse?
I'm going to call out to him and
yellow lights.
I'll call out to
Mugrunden.
Yeah, Mugrunden, and tell him, there seems to be something in between the ships.
So if I'm in like the air in here, do I hear him?
Do what?
Do I hear him call out to me between the storm, the water, me being in here?
You hear him saying something and pointing in the water.
I hear him pointing.
Yeah, well, you hear him saying something, but you see him pointing in the water. It's a very loud point.
I go towards his loud pointing.
Okay.
From in here, I will go towards his loud pointing.
With the direction of Glynden pointing you in the right direction, you dive back in the water, you swim down, and you don't see the light, but you kind of know the area, and you swim down a couple times, and you find a footlocker at the bottom of the reef, and you're actually able to pull it onto the water, out of the water onto the beach, but you find a small footlocker.
Is it locked?
It is.
I gesture to my firebolt friend. Can you open this?
I do have thieves' tools because I have a thief background or criminal background.
I just thought you were going to take a hammer to it. He's actually
a thief and a murderer.
This little halfling fella inducted me into the thieves guild. Let's see how well he did.
So make a sleight of hand roll.
God, this is going to
be a murderer and a thief.
Oh God!
While we're at it, a drunk, a murderer, and a thief.
Let's see here.
It's all playful.
I think the adrenaline of the moment just kind of... Whoa, you pop that sucker right open. Click, and you open it up, and you're still seeing, and as the door opens, the yellow light kind of gleams. Kind of like the end of Pulp Fiction. They see something, Yeah. Don't know what it is, You open it up, and you see this light gleaming out of the footlocker. And what you see is a scroll case. A very ornate scroll case.
Ooh. I bet it's got a scroll in it.
And the light is actually emanating from inside the scroll case.
Okay.
Now, as you pull the scroll case up, and you can feel it's really heavy, and you feel it's sloshy, and as you turn it, you see there's a small crack in the scroll case, and water is just pouring out of the scroll case. But whatever is inside is still emanating this light.
Okay. I'll tell him that it seems like whatever this is magical.
What are you wasting your time for? Open it.
Does it appear to have any sort of
No, it's just
mechanism? You just pop it. Okay, yeah, we'll
so
pop
you
it.
Pop it off, and some soggy paper comes rolling out, and the paper itself seems to be lightly magical. It's like this very fine Villium parchment. And as you pull it out, you look, and whatever is written on it seems to be soggy. So the water is having some type of negative effect on it. You can't. It's dark. You can't really make it out. You're just kind of looking over it like, what is this? If it were dry, or if you had some light or something, you might be able to make it out. But in this environment, you have no idea what this is. The only light that you're seeing is the faint yellow light that's emanating from the paper itself from your detect magic.
Right. All right. Well, I say we should take it back to the tavern. And
it's a good idea. In the meantime, I'm going to check the body of the guy who fell off the ship and died.
Okay.
This little fella.
That little fella right there. All right. On him, you see around. He has an amulet around his neck. It looks like a half moon and like an arrow sticking through it. Can't really tell. It's just some amulet that you notice. You also see on him a small pouch off to the side. It's like a satchel, and you open the satchel and there's a spyglass in there. But that's the only two things that you pull off him is the amulet and the spyglass.
All right, I'll pocket the amulet and I'll take the spyglass, and we'll head back to the tavern.
Okay.
Kind of take a look at all this nonsense.
Okay, so y'all make it back to the. I'm surprised you didn't take part of the Sahuagin back with you.
I forgot. In all the excitement, I forgot I was hungry.
Yeah, so
he'll get the munchies in a little bit. We'll go back.
Come back for the rest and cook up them Sahuagins. All right, so you guys make it back to the tavern. What do you want to do at the tavern once you get there?
I think we got upend this all on a table and start looking at the scroll itself, and got the amulet laid out and the spyglass, and kind of have it all set out and figure out what we're doing.
Okay. So the amulet, you look at the amulet, it is strange. It is a softer metal. You're not quite sure what it is. It's not something you're too familiar with. Mm-hmm. It's not it's not gold, it's not silver or anything like that. It's a softer metal.
And I don't recognize the symbol at all.
You don't recognize the symbol. And it has a lot of strange markings on it. It's just not something you're familiar with. It is odd, and you've seen a lot of trinkets of people wearing different jewelry and stuff. This seems very out of place for that. It has some type of odd purpose in a sense. So as you're looking at that, Glynden, you've got the paper. So what are you gonna do with the paper?
Right. I'm gonna try to just hold it near the fire, not in the fire. Kind of dry it. Try to dry it as best I can.
Okay. So as you pull the paper up and you're trying to dry it out, the ink has completely run off of the parchment. But as you're holding it closer, you see that there's actually writing that doesn't match where the ink would have been. And there's something about the firelight is actually causing these other words to appear on the parchment.
Nice. Okay. Is it any language that
it is in common?
Common. Okay.
And it is quite long. So I will read it, and I may take a picture and send it to y'all later because this is something that you're going to want to have moving forward. Okay. So I will read the parchment. Okay. When the gale finally ended, we found ourselves approximately 7 days normal sailing distance due south out of Port Nyanzaru in Cholt. We replenished our supplies, patched up the ship, and traded our remaining goods at native villages along the shores of several islands. Some villages were friendly, but others were hostile, and the natives attacked on sight. I suspect the hostile villages were filled with cannibals. We skirted the coastlines of several islands, sailing south by west until we reached a small peninsula cut off from the main island by a massive stone wall. We were well received by the natives of Tanaroa, the small village that guards this wall. The villagers were no name for the large island other than the Isle of Dread. Their own small peninsula is known simply as home. The villagers told us a tale about an ancient city in the central highland of the isle that was built by the same people who built the wall. The villagers called the builders the gods. But I noticed that the names of the gods and the personal names of the clan ancestors were often the same, so I suspect that their ancestors and the builders were one and the same. I believe that the natives once possessed a much more advanced culture and that the descendants of the builders have returned to a more primitive state. The inland city is rumored to be filled with treasure beyond imagining. In particular, I heard persistent tales concerning a great black pearl of the gods that still remains in the inland city. The island waters abound with excellent pearl beds, so the rumor of the black pearl may well be true. The village contains a number of huge lifelike statues of iron, bronze, and stone. Since no villager currently has the skill or the craft to make such statues, the tale of a lost city built by the gods seems reasonable. I would have liked to explore inland to verify the rumors, but too many crewmen died in the storm or by cannibal spears. Only 5 of us are left. I am the only professional adventurer, the others are only sailors. We can sail the small ship well enough back on land in hostile territory, we would be helpless. Once back in Port Nanzaru, I would be able to recruit a new crew and a party of professional adventurers. Then I will return to claim the Great Black Pearl. One thing I managed to do before leaving, we sailed around the island and made the best map we could. We were afraid to land since village fishermen had warned us that it was extremely dangerous to land anywhere on the main island, and the coasts were rocky with no beaches. As a result, the map only shows the coastal areas we could chart from the ship, but it is better than nothing. And it is signed Rory Barbarossa.
Rory Barbarossa.
I will send that to y'all. There are a lot of things y'all need to keep, and there is a map.
You and Cholt, man. You and Cholt.
There is a map.
Oh yeah, that would make sense.
All right, so here's the thing. This adventure that we're going to be kind of doing a little off of is actually based in Greyhawk. So I had to change it to something that makes sense in Faerun, and this island is perfect to be near Cholt.
Nice.
Of course
Plus,
it is.
I really like Cholt.
It was good.
Cholt has more of that swords and sorcery feel to it.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. That land of the lost kind of thing. All right, so that's our session point 5. So at this point, let's get everyone to level 2.
Okay.
Hooray! Yeah. Is there anything that's going to happen at level 2 that we need to talk about in game? I know that Grunden will get his fighting style.
I get a second wind.
You get second.
I get my fighting style at level 1.
No, you get windy. I thought second wind was level 1.
No, second wind's level 2.
When is action surge?
Excuse me. Action surge is level 2.
And
second wind and fighting style are level 1.
So you could have used second wind in that fight.
I mean, not when I'm dead.
Well, you could have done it after you took the first hit.
After the first hit, I could have, yeah.
So, all right. So, what are y'all's feeling so far? Are we hooked? We like it?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
What do we think about Roll20?
It's pretty cool. I mean,
I like Roll20.
Yeah, we're old school. Nothing beats getting at a table with your friends. But
absolutely,
I'll tell you one thing that does beat that is the coronavirus. So this is the best we can do right now, and I'm okay with that.
And even in that situation, Roll20 is one step below miniatures. It's like I don't know. I like having something to look at. So having Roll20, having a map, being able to move around. It's not as good as miniatures, but it is a close second.
It's interesting. I like Theater of the Mind a lot, and playing in David's game reminded me that I do like that. And I feel like because I have so many miniatures and terrain that I lean on it too much. And it makes me realize, because there are sometimes that there are scenarios that I don't have the right terrain or minis or everything. So I think there's a balance.
You like Theater of the Mind, but you lose a lot of elements, such as like movement speed becomes irrelevant. Right. Yeah. Absolutely irrelevant in Theater of the Mind, because okay, well, you're there. It's like, well,
am I?
Why?
Yeah, there's that's the thing. Like when you're using Theater of the Mind, a monk's extra 10 feet of speed is lost.
Yeah. And it makes it less important to be a monk when that happens.
Right.
Yeah.
Very cool. Ooh. Well, I'm enjoying the characters. I think we've got a good start to figure out what you guys are, what your story is about. it's going to be a very martial game, which I enjoy. So, maybe be thinking about, what does your fighting style look like? And maybe we'll try to incorporate that into kind of the description, because this game will only be as fun as the description of the combat.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's one thing that I learned a lot in Hyperborea playing with Laszlo's Barbarian, was that I had so much fun with that character when we just let him be a murdering machine and really, you know what I'm saying, and get that Conan bone crunching, feel.
He was a lot of fun, and it was weird playing a character that was so over the top with, like sometimes you run into groups where there's the guy who's just the murder hobo, essentially.
Right.
Just very challenging to every NPC that's in the way. But for some reason in Hyperborea, it fit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was just it was a lot of fun playing the character that way.
Yeah.
Well, Hyperborea, it kind of gets you back to like, it's like, oh, it's a trope. Well, it's a trope for a reason. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And
Conan takes no shit off anyone.
No. That's great. All right. Well, cool. Well, I think we'll stop here. It's 11. We'll go ahead and roll up to get to level 2.
Sounds good.
Danny, is there anything that... No, wait. Do you get spells at level 2?
Yes, and I get smite.
Oh, snap.
Okay,
Divine
so we probably
smite.
need to do some type of role play.
Yeah,
to figure
just
out.
to role play that.
Yeah, because it's. I think there's a big difference between being someone who can heal occasionally to calling on the power of a god.
Right.
So I would like to see. We'll talk about what that looks like.
Yeah.
We also need to talk about motivation. I mean, I've given you guys like how are this obviously the search for this place is going to take you to Chult. How are you going to get there?
Yeah.
And the other thing is going to be, I think it's an easy out for Glynden to want to leave this area.
Yeah.
If there's trouble here, he can just, I'll just go.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But yeah, talk to me about motivation. If you feel like your character needs more like reason to go on this big wild goose chase, treasure hunt, we can talk about it. But I want to make sure that everyone feels right in its place.
Yeah.
So
I would think like with some logic, being like, hey, maybe going into the town where you're wanted murder and trying to talk to them about it wouldn't, hopefully that logic, would get through.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's 10 intelligence. He's not stupid,
No. I mean, 10 is above average.
Right. So I think he that would be his first inclination, or to run, and neither of those are really good. So
I feel that his intelligence is he understands the world in a different way than civilization.
Yeah.
It's not that he's dumb. It's that he's just kind of uneducated in that world.
Mm-hmm.
It's not uneducated like a bad thing. He's just I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well,
ignorant.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well,
in terms of running, it's what does day-to-day life look like in this world? And there's only so much time you can spend working and living on a ship. So it's when these kind of things happen, it's like, all right, well, I'd like to see where this goes. And it's an acquaintance I met who I like, and let's help him out a little bit, and essentially seeing how far down the rabbit hole you get.